Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 50 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least two things every day that I don't want to do, but I know would be good for me. So, yay for day 50. So again, I made a to-do list today. Only today's to-do list had like 6 items on it, and I was like, yes, God loves me. I'm still struggling to do the last two, which be my video and that I'm making now and my journal. But I am grateful to be doing this. And I did do some other things today. I called my Al-Anon J friend, which I didn't really want to do, but I did. I was just thinking about some things tonight about the offer to have my book published, and I was just thinking about that and trying to decide if I've made a decision or not made a decision and trying to figure out what I'm doing. And so I was kind of missing my Al-Anon sponsor that passed away last year. And then I was just thinking, hey, my Al-Anon J friend popped into my head, and I know she's going out of town, and so she's probably super busy. And I was like, no, I'm not going to call her. But she just kept popping into my head, so I'm like, okay, fine. I tried doing other stuff on my to-do list. I got a couple of those things done. I'm like, okay, fine, I will call her. And in the process of talking to her and just processing things out loud, I guess, she thanked me a lot for reminding her of things, which is always just so sweet of her to do that. And but I also got to hear myself say things out loud, and I was telling her that like this email that I got was just, it's like a gift from God saying, hey, I'm going to offer to publish your book so that you don't have to stress and worry about it, and so you'll stay on track, and so you'll actually do it, because now you have someone to work with and to do deadlines and to make sure that this actually happens, which is what I really want. And it's so it's like God just provided the means for this. So I'm like, why am I avoiding something or trying to make sure if it's right or not, when it's just basically what I told her is like, God gave it to me, and I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to accept the gift or not. And that just sounded kind of silly when I said it out loud like that. And I was like, huh. And then she asked me about the process of choosing. And I said, honestly, the reason I picked this person to edit was because, one, she had an opening, she had available, she offered, and two, because the price was right and I could afford it. So that's why I chose that one. And it felt right to me. It wasn't, I just was going to pay somebody that I didn't feel comfortable with. I wasn't going to do that, but I felt comfortable with it. It felt right. And it's like everything has fallen into place. And so it's super exciting for me, and I'm super excited about it. And I'm like telling everybody about it. And then I'm like, but I'm not actually doing it. So I made the decision. I messaged my editing friend, and I messaged Dad Shoemaker, and I was like, I want some advice. I want some opinions. And I haven't gotten responses back. I got some questions back and, ask more information. But I was talking to my Al-Anon J friend, and she's like, it sounds like you've researched this, like, you know what you're doing and what you're talking about. And I was like, I've done a lot of looking into like publishing my own book, but I haven't really looked into having someone else publish my book. I've looked into it a little bit, but I did ask a few questions. I did get some responses. So I decided today, regardless of what responses I get back from people that I asked for advice, that I decided, if this really is a gift from God and he's gift drafting it and giving it to me, then I need to accept it, and I need to remember to enjoy life and to be grateful and to be excited, and to know that maybe this is a way for me to continue to learn and to grow, and also a way for me to learn to let go and to trust other people again, and to accept that there's good things and good people out there, and accept the help that's being offered to me, so that I don't have to, make all the mistakes trying to figure it out on my own. So I sent an email back to the person that edited my book and said I want to take her up on the offer of having her company publish my book for me. I haven't checked my email. I don't know if she's responded back to that or not. I did tell her that I haven't finished going through all of the edits and making changes based on what she sent me back. I'll probably try to do it hopefully by this weekend, because it's a lot of work. Well, it's not a lot of work. It's just a lot of time, and I'm trying to put the time into it, but I don't have a lot of time, and I'm trying to get myself to go to bed and work on all of my other goals too. So I'm trying to limit myself to like half an hour to an hour, or basically just 2 chapters a night until the weekend, when I have a little bit more time and I can probably do like 5 or 6 chapters a night, and hopefully knock it all out this weekend. So I got through chapter 7. I did 6 chapters last night. I was up to chapter 6 last night, so I just only did chapter 7 tonight because I had another activity to go to, which was also on my to-do list, because seriously, by the time it came around, I was like, I'd rather stay home and work on my book, or I'd rather stay home and do other things, but I'm going to go and be social and be around other people, plus it's on my to-do list. Also, I need to make an amends in my video. I jumped to conclusions, which I should not do. I did mention yesterday in my video that my Texas friend that did my book cover probably wasn't going to update it, because she sent me a text saying that she sent it to me, and I thought she was referring to the previous email where she'd sent me the draft and said that she was going to add a few things to it, and I was like, okay. And so I just assumed that's what I was going to get, and it's still an amazing drawing, so I was okay with that. But then I was checking my email today, and she actually sent me another copy, the finished version that I asked for, and it was like amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is better than I pictured in my head. This is like perfect and fantastic. At least it looks a little darker on my phone, depending on the lighting, but I still love it. I love it. I think it's amazing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's fantastic. She did an amazing job. So I'm very, very super excited about it. Very super excited about it. So I have a book cover, and hopefully I have someone that's going to publish my books. Hoping the offer still stands, because I did, like I said, reply to the email, but I haven't signed a contract or anything as of yet. But I've decided to move forward with it, and I'm moving forward with editing my book and making a few minor changes, and grateful for the people in my life that let me kind of bounce ideas off of them, but also grateful to know that in the end it's still just between me and my higher power, and it's what I feel like works the best. And I'm grateful to know that my friends and family will still support me, because hopefully they know that I'm a little bit crazy, and I just kind of gung-ho and do things, and I realize it's probably not the best. This is a bad thing on my part, to ask other people's advice and then just do what I want anyway. I do that a lot. Dad Shoemaker tells me that. She's like, I give you all this advice and I tell you all these things and you just do whatever you want anyway. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. So, but I feel bad about it, because sometimes he's telling me what to do because he loves me and he's trying to help me not make mistakes, and I just choose not to listen. But so that would be what I would call unsolicited advice. And in this case, I solicited advice. I asked for advice, and I did not wait for the advice before I made the decision. So part of my waiting before I made the decision was just waiting to see what other people's opinions and other people's thoughts on the process. And I think maybe just not trusting myself, or maybe just not trusting God, and kind of being that, having that, not having the thought, but maybe having the emotion that, I loved my Al-Anon J friend. She said it just perfectly. She said, I'm so afraid to do something, to move forward, because I'll get this amazing, wonderful thing. She's like, I'm more afraid to have something amazing and wonderful happen in my life, because then it's just going to get taken away from me, versus never having it in the first place. And, then of course she quotes that saying, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And I'm still not entirely sure I believe that, but I know you learn a lot from loss, and you can grow a lot from that if you don't get stuck in it. And I know that God wants me to be happy and have opportunities in my life. And so I have to take a chance. And then my Al-Anon J friend asked me, like, in the past, when I've done something impulsive like this, how has it turned out? How has it worked out? And I thought about that, and I was like, there's some things that haven't worked out. And it's usually like relationships with people. Like anytime I've had a relationship with a person where it just seems like instantaneously and we connect and we click and everything works out right from the get-go, those are the relationships that usually blow up in my face. The ones that take time to develop and get to know each other, those are the ones that have lasted a lot longer and that we work through things. And those are the friends that I can count on and that have been around like forever. So when it comes to relationships, I'm not as leery. I should be more leery because I'm just very trusting. But I should be leery of the ones that just like instant relationships, because those are the ones that fall apart. But when it comes to like choices and decisions in my life, I started thinking about it, and there's stuff that I impulsively did, and I got a lot of backlash. Like when I was in college and I decided to drop out of school to become a nanny, and my biological mom freaked out, and she called my grandmother, and she called these people trying to convince me that I needed to stay in school. It was like, because she dropped out of college and she didn't want me to make the same mistake that she did, and she, expected me to do all these things. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do for a career. I don't know what I want to go to school for. And I don't see the point in wasting my time going to school and taking classes when I have no idea what I'm doing. And I felt like I was supposed to be a nanny. And so I dropped out of school. I applied for a couple of places and I got the job. I think I actually got the first job I applied for. So that was pretty amazing. And it worked out. It was fantastic. I did it for a year. It's probably one of the best jobs I ever had. But I did it and it worked out and it was fantastic. So I'm grateful for that. But I did have a lot of people that didn't appreciate that. And I kind of learned to not tell people what I was doing because I didn't feel like they supported me. So like when I chose to move from one state to another, which I did, I just applied for the job and I got the job. And then I said, oh, guess what? I'm moving, after I already had the job. And I was living with my grandma at the time when I decided to buy a house. And I didn't tell my grandma I decided to buy a house. I just got a realtor and I did all that stuff. And then it wasn't until my realtor came over with the papers to sign and my grandma was like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought a house. And she was kind of hurt. She had her feelings hurt that I didn't tell her or involve her in the process. And so I realized I step on people's toes and I hurt people's feelings when I'm impulsive and I make those decisions. They work out well for me, like personally for my life, but it's not very nice when I exclude other people from those decisions. So in this case, I'm like telling people about this publishing offer that I got, but not necessarily, and asking for advice. But I kind of got impatient and impulsive and I didn't wait for the responses and I just decided to accept it anyway. And maybe I should have just told people I was going to accept it. But I think I still had that fear, like my Al-Anon J friend, that it's hard to like believe that, I think that feeling, not necessarily the thought, until I was making this video, the thought didn't pop into my head, but where they say if it sounds like it's too good to be true, then it probably is. So I think there's part of my brain and part of me that's like, I'm afraid that's what this is. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is exactly what I told my Al-Anon J friend. This is like God just gift wrapped this for me and gave it to me. And it's all just falling into place like it's supposed to, because I've been putting in the work. It's not like I haven't done work. I did do work. I've spent years working on this book and rewriting it and leaving it and letting it sit for long periods of time and then picking it back up again because I really want to be a published author, and spending time praying and thinking about it and asking questions and finding someone to edit that I could afford. And so, and I did submit it at least to one place as far as like having them publish it, and was rejected, but I didn't give up on my goal to publish my book. And I'm still determined. I'm like, I'm going to self-publish it if I have to, but if someone else is going to do it for me, then I'm going to let them do it for me because it makes things a little bit easier for me. And I still get to use the book cover I want. I get to use the title I want. So I still get to have everything that I want, unlike a big, huge publishing company that might make me change the name or the title or something, because they can do that. So I think I get the best of both worlds doing it this way. And it's a learning process and it's an experience. So I know I'm going to learn from all of this. And I'm just grateful for my Al-Anon J friend to reminding me of that, and that I can be happy. And she was proud of me for being excited about things. And I was just grateful for that too. So this is kind of like a recognizing God's hand in my life sort of a thing, and then doing things that I didn't really want to do, but I wanted to do. That, because I wanted to talk to my Al-Anon J friend, but I didn't, because I knew she was probably planning on leaving town soon, and I didn't know if she's already gone and didn't want to interrupt. And so I always worry about things like that. So that was kind of stressful. And then I did send a message to my doctor this morning about medication and the dosage that I decided I wanted, and he agreed to let me try that, and I was like, yay. And then of course the pharmacy calls me and told me they don't have the medication after they'd already talked to them, and I was like, really? really, really. So I did not want to have to call around and do that again, but I did. I called around. I waited till after work. I thought about doing it on my lunch break, and then I waited till after work, and I sat in my car. I didn't go home. I just sat in my car, and I called a couple of places, and the second place I called actually had the medication in the dose that I wanted, that the doctor approved this morning. So I was like, yes, but I just had to get him to send it to a different pharmacy. So I went back inside, and thankfully one of my coworkers was there. And I'm just really grateful that I felt comfortable enough to ask her if she could send a message to my doctor for me. And I didn't feel as bad doing it that way because she's working and I'm a patient there as well as an employee there. So it's, it's still asking her to do work, like do work while you're working. And then I didn't have to log back in and do all of that stuff. So I'm very grateful for that. And so I got that taken care of, and I will find out tomorrow if it's been sent and can go pick it up tomorrow, hopefully after work. So very excited about that as well. So I am learning that by doing the things I don't want to do and doing the things that I am not necessarily comfortable with doing, but I know that are good for me, I get positive results. So making choices for myself, allowing myself to be happy and excited, allowing myself to call people, even if I think it's going to be an inconvenience for them, actually turns out to be a blessing. And in fact, my Al-Anon J friend said she was so happy that she called me because she was feeling lonely and wanted someone to talk to. And then I called her, and it was like, oh, so God knew exactly what he was doing when he was telling me to call my Al-Anon J friend, because it helped me see the blessings and the gift that I was being offered, and that it was silly for me to reject them or to put them on hold while I tried to make an informed decision when I'd already obviously made a decision. And also it was there to reach out and show my Al-Anon J friend that she was loved and that God was aware of her too. So that was just really kind of a cool experience, and also kind of a humbling thing for me and a reminder to trust my friends and have faith in my friends, and to not be jaded about people and situations, which I have a tendency to do. Because again, like I said, I got a text from my friend, my Texas friend, and I thought when she said, I sent it to you, that she was talking about the draft that she'd sent the week before. And I was like, yeah, I saw that. I was hoping for an updated version, and I didn't check my email. And then of course I checked my email today, and there was the updated final version that is like perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So I am super grateful for that, and super grateful for God reminding me of that. And of course, having to like make an apology on my video. I need to be better about how I treat my friends and how I do things, and be aware of other people and how my actions and my thoughts can sometimes hurt other people or portray them in a bad way. And I don't mean to, because I do love my Texas friend. She is amazingly talented and she's wonderful, and I do miss her because she's like so far away. But there are some things, about her that drive me crazy, but I'm sure there's things about me that drive her crazy. I think that's true in any relationship, but it doesn't mean we can't be friends, and it doesn't mean we can't love each other and help each other out. And so I'm really grateful that she did that for me. And so I'm just super excited about all the things that are moving forward in my life. And but there's still that part of me that's having a hard time letting go, and having a hard time just accepting that all of this is actually happening. And I think I just feel like it's very surreal, and I'm just dreaming, and not really sure how this is gonna work out or where it's gonna go. But like I told my Al-Anon J friend, I think for me at this point, it's not about the money. It's not about becoming super popular. That would be the fun fantasy that if it actually became reality would be kind of cool, but not really sure what I would do with it, because once again, I'm not the most social person, and I go to an activity tonight where there's like 50 people, and I'm just like, and I'm going to sit at my little table, and there's like 4 other people at the table with me, and they're each having a conversation with each other, and I'm just kind of the fifth wheel and just not having a conversation. And actually, I think there was 6, but there was a little girl who didn't want to talk to anybody but her mom, or she answered other people's questions, but I didn't really engage with her. I didn't really engage with anyone at the table until they kind of turned and talked to me. So it's kind of like, yeah, still have a hard time reaching out. I reached out to like one or two people there, and I sat at a table with people that I knew, but they were all having conversations with each other, and occasionally they would ask me questions and I would respond, of course. But I just have a hard time. I don't know. I struggle with that. So I struggle with the idea of actually, like, the fantasy of my being popular sounds fun, or famous sounds fun. I think it does for just about anybody. But the reality of that scares the living daylights out of me, and I don't actually want that fantasy to come true. So I'm actually okay with just doing things on a small basis, a little basis, and just reaching a handful of people, because that's where I'm at right now, and that's what I'm comfortable with. And I know that God knows that. And so I don't need to be afraid of going too quickly, or things happening too quickly, or having my dreams come true. But I am, and it's hard for me to put myself out there, and it's hard for me to believe that I can have this and that it's actually happening. And it is actually happening, and I'm not making it up, and it's amazing and it's exciting, and I'm still not entirely sure what to do with it, but I do know that I still have work to do, and now I have someone to work with, hopefully, as far as publishing my book, so I know it'll go out there. But again, just like my YouTube videos, I don't know how many people it's going to reach or how quickly it will reach it. But it's not about the money. It's not about the popularity. It's just about knowing that I finally followed through on a goal, that I finally finished something, that I am finishing something, that I am doing what I set out to do, and I'm not disappointing myself, and I'm not disappointing everybody else because I've been saying I was going to write a book or publish a book for probably like 10 years now, and I've been creating stories in my head and ideas. I mean, I've been creating stories in my head and ideas since I was like in elementary school, as far back as I can remember. But ones that I wanted to write the stories about, the series that I want to write, I've been creating those in my head for like over 20 years. And it's taken me over 10 years to even have the courage to tell people about it, and then to have the courage to start writing. And now I might actually publish one, and just one. And I've probably got like 20 to 50 storybook ideas in my head, like full on books. And I have no idea how long it's going to take me to write and publish all of those. Maybe the rest of my life. Maybe I will never get them all written and published. I have no idea. And of course, I have lots of other stories and ideas in my head that I will probably never share with other people. But I'm just grateful that I can do these things. I'm grateful that I made a to-do list for me to check off today, because it kind of helps me to stay focused and be like, okay, I can't go to bed until I'm done with this list, and I gotta just want to without finishing it. So, but I'm grateful that I did the things on my list, even when I didn't want to do them. And I am grateful to have talked to my Al-Anon J friend and to figure out medication with my doctor and finding a pharmacy that actually has my medication. So that makes me happy, and also super happy for the book cover that my Texas friend sent me, and also for the decision to accept someone publishing my book. I haven't like signed anything. There's not a contract. It's not like official, but she did offer, and I finally said, yes, I will. So we'll find out from here how that goes. But super excited, moving forward, and it's like a little bit of nervous in there, because again, it's doing something outside my comfort zone, and I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I have no control over the outcome. So this is me having to learn how to let go, and how to trust other people, and trust God, and trust the process. All things I am not good at, all things I don't want to do, because I'm like, I want my book to be published, but I want to be in control, and I want the outcome to be exactly the way that I want, and I know it doesn't work that way. And so then I just don't do things when it comes to that. And so I'm grateful that I'm doing, and I'm moving forward, and I'm rambling, and I'm repeating myself because I'm tired, and that's what I do. Well, I think I ramble and repeat myself even when I'm not tired. So that's just what I do. But I'm tired, so I need to stop repeating myself. But I do thank you for listening to me and paying attention to me and my crazy adventures and my crazy thought process and trying to do things and to learn things about myself and to take chances to put myself out there. And so thank you for listening and being encouraging and supportive of me, and for watching these videos. And if you like them, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe find one or two things to do today that you don't want to do but you know would be good for you.